Ibig sabihin, dapat isang tao, ah, system, yung kwento ng paglabas ng buhay. Kasi ang pinangyayari ng pangalawa, kailangan natin ang isang kwento, kailangan na siya. Hindi siya yung parang step up. Hindi siya parang content. So yung communication ng director o ng mga filmmakers dapat ito siya kasi base siya sa buhay, base siya sa pagkakataon. At ang pangatlo, dapat socialize. Ibig sabihin, ang kwento, hindi lang siya nangyayari sa isang tao o base sa kanyang experience. Ibig sabihin, nung doon nagkukwento ka, tapos ka nagkwento na sa tao, community-based pa rin ang kanyang experience. Kasi, dito siya nagkukuhay, dito siya nagkukuhay. Kaya siya, naging gano'n, specific siya ng tao. Dahil sa kanyang 4 years ago before I did this film. May nakilala ako isang tao na na-involved sa ganitong klaseng situation and I thought it was interesting story kasi ang daming pwedeng sabihin ng kwento niya bilang sa personal na kwento, hindi kwento ng bayan, kwento ng mga Pilipino especially, lalo-lalo na sa ganitong klaseng class. Parang nasundan ko yung buhay ng mga taong ito at kung nag-research ako kasama ko yung writer ko, naalaman namin yung katotohanan, yung nangyari, yung experience nila, at yung encounter nila doon sa mga corrupt na police.
Invited direct yung referent namin, yung mag-asawa. Then doon na nag-take off yun. So, after nung interview, binalikan ko sila sa para makita yung lugar nila, kung sila nakatira, yung environment na ginagalawan nila.
Ang pamilya nito ay binubuo ni Willie Diaz, Jackie Jose, Nancy, John, at si Kelly. Okay? And then we have a group of mga police. Si Barrett, Mon, Pepper, and a group of people. So, amin naman sila. Kailangan malaman natin ito ng para kayo set natin at may mga natin sa aral. Oh, kaya lahat tayo. May tendency happy o may tendency gawin o pag-aralan ito. Yun ang importante. Pag-aralan natin ang maging masya o hindi na gumawa ng maarte. Paano ito gagawin? Paano ito nangyari na makukuha ko yung pa rin. At the same time, performance. Importante muna siguro maniwala siya sa kanyang ginagawa. Hindi siya yun. Yung character lang pinupagawin. At the same time, paano mo gagawin na maniniwala ka sa isang character? Paano mo makikilala ang isang character? Kailangan mo magpaano. Kailangan magkaroon ka ng immersion. Kailangan alam mo ang buhay na nangyayari talaga sa kanyang paligid. Ang interact ka ng band, sa kanyang personal station.
I don't know because I don't have script. Ayaw niya talaga na may script yung mga artista kasi bigla sila magbabox. So nagiging more on memorization instead of emotion talaga may labas sila in realidad. Ang ginagawa, titigil lang yung situation, mga sample of lines, and then bahala na yung mga artista. Wala lang, alam ko lang nagpupush ako, nagtutulak, pandagdag lang sa kita, pinaaral na kolehiyo, may mga anak, 1, 2, 3, 4, apat na anak. May asawa, electrician, ano lang, may hari-hari store, may source of living. Sino talaga yung
initial reaction towards the scene. So, bibigyan, situational lang ang bibigay mo. Tapos you act accordingly. Kasi ayaw niya ng acting. Gusto niya kung andang maisip ko on that particular situation, instinct lang ang gusto mo paganahin. No acting requirement.
I have a question about the abundance of female actresses here at the fest. Um, why did you select Jacqueline Jose for Ma Rosa?
She's the film. I mean, have you seen the performance she gave? She broke my heart.
Everybody has.
At the end of that movie, that vision that she has and her reaction to it while she's eating those four white balls. Bottom line, that's a big time leading role.
We found her to be a wonderful, wonderful leading actress, a master of her skills, regardless of what the rules are in this festival. It was not a supporting character. It was an absolutely beautiful, beautiful performance for a lead actress. That's why she got it.
But behind that, no, behind that, yung acting nila, yung performance nila, it matters yung attitude. Kasi, yung behind the scene, no, how they deal with the role, how they deal with the production staff, importante yun sa akin. Kasi ang paggawa ng pelikula, it's a teamwork. No? Hindi pwedeng director lang. Ang director, ito yung tinatawag natin captain of the ship. Pero yung sabihin, hindi mo naman mapapaandar ang ship kung mag-isa ka lang. So, kailangan mo ng tao, kailangan mo ng artista, kailangan mo ng staff, kailangan mo ng crew. So, collaborative effort yung paggawa ng pelikula. Kaya importante, yung ugali, pag-uugali ng bawat isa, isang production, para sa akin, it really matters.
Nakuha natin delivery sa camera, puro sa isa lang. Tapos yung isa marami lang. Kaya yung white na tayo na pag namin huwag ka na mag-fight ng weight. Masyadong review.
Ang gusto ko dun sa cinematography, tinatawag ko dito sa aesthetics sa cinematography, para siyang documentary. Kumbaga, tinatanggal ko yung glamour side ng cinematography. Parang sinushoot mo yung, pinifilm mo yung katotohanan na nangyayari sa paligid mo. The way, how you see it. Hindi yung parang glamour o masyadong maraming embellishment. I don't go for that. So, kasi ang sa akin is realism. Hindi kami gumagamit ng maraming ilaw, although may ilaw, may setup. Okay, pero hindi gumagamit ng ilang ginagawang unnatural yung setup. As much as possible, malapit ang natin sa kung ano nangyayari, kung ano yung unique way ng panahon. So, importante yung action. Kasi nga, gusto natin yung handling ng camera, okay, alam nito ng cinematographer ko, hindi natin siya gumagamit ng tripod. Parang, it's always on the point of view of somebody looking or watching the characters. So, ganun na lang yung feel mo. Parang sinusundan mo sila, parang tinitignan mo ang mga actors.
Okay, nandito tayo ngayon sa bahay ni Rosa. Sineset up natin yung teka. Sa bahay. Bali, nagpapalagay ako ng kortina para sa eksena ni Jarek. Tapos, ito, ayos natin. Nagalaw sila ng laban.
Mga location namin, actual location, hindi ko naman mag-location. Marami kami mga pinagdahan, marami kami mga pagdahan. Kasi itong mga dinadagdag namin, dinatanggal namin, ibig sabihin hindi sila nakakatulong dun sa character o dun sa community na gusto namin. Meticuloso din ako in a way kasi kahit na sabihin mo pang existing ang production side of costumes, props, dapat tama ito. Tama na akma ito sa lugar, sa character, at sa mismong environment. Kasi naniniwala ko ang production company, pwede magkwento kung siya magkwento ng life. Pwede siya magkwento sa setup. Diba, ang ba, supported ba, overpopulated ba, ano ang gusto sabihin ng environment. That is a story. Sa production design, ang gusto natin mangyari ay yung makita yung character. Then, binibisa natin ang mga character para maging malapit sila sa character sa totoong buhay. So, kapag nag-blend sila sa community, alam mo they belong, hindi sila nag-stand out. Anong proseso ang pagdadaanan ng pag-ukwento? Okay? Story development, direction, production, and then you finally use so, editing, napaka-importante. Because yun na yung yun na yung final process ng storytelling. Usually, yung editing, symbol lang. From editing, storytelling talaga. Isa yung basta mo, yun na, yun yung susundan. Pwede ka mag-transpose from one thing to kailangan siyang mapaaga ba siya, mapagaling ba siya, para magkaroon ng moment. Yun po siya. More research. Tapos susunod. Ang editor, yun yung mga position. Kailangan mag-roll na lahat yun. Yun yung research niya. And then, doon sa story natin, sa mga night. Okay, sa editing kasi, yung tinatawag natin fountain. Okay, importante sa akin yung hooking. Hindi sabihin ako nanonood ka ng video, parang hindi siya happy. Depende kasi sa kung mo kwento mo. Ako din sa movie, may hooking. So, the focus. Kaya na hindi kailangan ng kaso na palipod ang kaso. Kung siya. Kasi, hindi ka naman after dun sa, makita mo yung mukha ng character. Kung after ka dun sa situation, dun sa scene. Pero a lot of times, yung scene na, mahaba. Mahaba talaga. We follow the character. So, hindi mo kailangan na mag-start just to have a little shot. Gusto ko yung basura, nakatapat ka dun sa basura ng dumadaan. Sa truck ng basura. Ating Rosa at Lisa, may basura ka dyan? Dapat medyo prominent yun. Ikaw para sa inyo. Sa sound design at saka sa sound mix, I always make it a point na yung sound is a character in itself. Kasi gusto ko maramdaman at marinig yung lugar kung saan na nangyayari ang kwento.
Ma'am, kulang po ako ng 35 cents.
Grocery sound. Oo. Parang ambient. Pataas. A lot of times, kapag nanonood tayo ng pelikula, pinapakinggan yung sound yung environment. So, ang naririnig mo lang yung boses ng mga artista o ng mga character. Which I don't agree. Okay, kasi lalo na kapag nasa Pilipinas, maingay talaga dito sa atin, di ba? Part yun ng character natin, part yun ng pagkatao natin bilang Pilipino. So, dapat makapture yun. So, hindi ko tinatanggap yun na yung sound. Ang musical kasi parang diegetic siya. Parang nanggagaling din siya sa loob. Okay, parang um, in-explain ko sa aking musical director na sa music, okay, ayaw ko rin siyang pakinggan, kundi gusto ko siyang maramdaman. Hindi nag-tweet. Ano ba siya? Kasi ang gusto ko, naririnig natin pa rin yung usapan ng mga tao. Ano ba sabi? Basura ka dyan? O, pingin naman. Hi! May ganun. Iba-ibang level ng mga tao. Then, dahan-dahan.
May natural kasing swelling yung music. Tapos, ang problema sa music ko, hindi siya. Mangyari. Kaya medyo annoying. So, siguro, yung music.
Gagaling siya. Gagaling siya. Gagaling siya. Dahil tumatama siya dun sa patanda.
Yes.
Parang ang tayo na kagad. Pero actually, nakikinig ba kayo? So siguro, parang gumagano siya tapos. Pagdating na rin na
High part ko. High part.
so yung music dapat nag-a-add siya dun sa mood. Nag-a-add siya dun sa gusto mong mood dun sa scene. Hindi yung parang nag-aagaw siya ng pansin. There are times for me na nagaganda ng music. So you just listen to the music and you don't watch the scene anymore. So dapat ang music, kumbaga, kasama siya dun sa eksena. A lot of times yung kina-counter ko ang ano ang eksena. Kapag ang eksena dramatic na siya, hindi mo na kailangan ng music. Okay. Kapag ang eksena hindi naman siya dramatic na, so doon ko talaga siya nilalagyan ng music. Kasi parang meron akong kailangan na ma-evoke na emotion dun sa eksena. Sa grading kasi, I talk to my cinematographer. So ito yung gusto kong mood, ito yung gusto kong feel. So kahit na umuulan, ang gusto ko parang feel mo may init, humid. Pagpasok nila sa loob ng bahay, pinapawisin pa rin sila. So dapat, pag overall, kapag nakita mo yung pelikula, kapag pinanood mo siya, parang it's warm. Kasi, bakit? Kasi nasa Pilipinas tayo. Sa grading, mas maramdaman mo yung lugar. At sometimes yung lugar, hindi nga sa placing with the eyes. Eh. Pero gusto ko ma-capture yun. Kasi yun yung katotohanan, yung reality. Diba? So dapat, ang grading, hindi niya inihiwalay yung kulay o yung gusto mo sa photography. Kundi, ina-enhance siya para mas maging realistic siya. Pag nagtapos na ang pelikula, of course, ang ginagawa ko, wala ang ginagawa ko sa pelikula, pinapalabas sa ibang bansa. Bakit sa ibang bansa? Bakit hindi sa Pilipinas? Bakit pinapalabas sa ibang bansa? Kasi gusto ko siya mapanood ng mas marami. Hindi lang gusto ko maintindihan ng ibang tao kung anong klase ng pagkakataon tayo, anong klase ng kultura ng tayo. Kung nabibigyan tayo ng recognition, of course, it's a reward. Pero hindi yun ang ultimate goal sa paggawa ng pelikula. Hindi para basta magtanong ka ng award. Hindi, may send mo yung message mo sa mga tao na gusto mo sabihin. Kasi mas mataas yung purpose mo sa paggawa ng pelikula, hindi na dahil sa awards. Nalala ko itong sa Marosa nung pagtanggap ng award kasi parang nung nasa gitna ako ng stage at nagtayuan ng mga tao at malakpak sila, parang of course ang binibigyan ng recognition yung filmmaker, binibigyan ng recognition yung pelikula. Pero ako, ang feeling ko, hindi ako deserving kasi ang kwento ko ay kwento ni Marusa. Kwento ng mga Pilipino. Sila dapat ang binibigyan ng papuri. Yung mga taong, yung character sa pelikula ko, hindi ako. Sila ako instrumento para may nabigyan kwento. Pero dapat, at the end of the day, bigyan ng papuri, bigyan ng recognition. Yung mga tamang tao. Ito yung mga character ng pelikula.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to call on the stage our guest, Brillante Mendoza. And yes, Mr. Kumar, Festival Director of EP and Managing Director NFTC, please to come on the stage to felicitate Mr. Mendoza. Now I hand over the stage to Brillante Mendoza to conduct the first one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning,
Thank
everyone.
you. So sorry for interrupting. I hope everybody is enjoying the festival. And here, I think his film itself is so innovative and the way he's scientifically talking about film direction. I'm sure you're going to love this class. And please give us our feedbacks. We are welcoming all the feedbacks which are coming to us. Because of you, all of they are here, and we are loving it. And so many people are participating. Thank you so much for being a part of it. All the best.
Thank you so much. Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning for the master class. So, a while ago, you saw my process in making film. So, basically, to sum up the whole master class about my cinema, it's all about truth and realism. So, from the story to the direction, I mean, from the choice of the story to the screenplay direction, even the production itself, and the editing, until everything is like finished and put together. It's all about truth. It's all about realism. So we are not just watching a film. We are watching reality. We're watching life as it unfolds. So it's almost like a documentary. I remember once when I have one film. I think that was my second film. It was shown in Nantes in France, and they put it in the documentary section. It's supposed to be a feature narrative, and when I arrived, you know, it was in the documentary section. It's very. I felt flattered about that. I mean, it was a good mistake because that's how I see the whole film. They thought that it's a documentary, when in fact it's a narrative. So what do I want about this cinema? Why realism? Why where most of the Filipino films are melodramatic, most of the Filipino films are like over the top from the choice of stories to performance. So I was in advertising before I became a filmmaker, and as you know, in advertising, it is a totally different world on how we do it. When we make films in advertising, it's all about we are selling a product. Okay, so we try to enhance, um, make sure that product is appreciated by everyone. So we try to make it appealing, more appealing to the audience, and that's how. While I was working in advertising, I told myself that if one day I'm going to make a film, I'm not going to do it the way I'm doing it right now. So I'm going to make it realistic. Growing up, because we were introduced to Hollywood cinema because of our association with, you know, we were under the we were under America for several years, and everything about the Philippines is very Americanized. It's very Hollywood, you know. And so for us, back in the Philippines, anything that is Hollywood is something that you really have to look up to. It's something, it's like a template of what a good film is all about. So we follow that path as filmmakers, um, storytellers. So we follow that, even if we cannot afford it because of budget constraints, because of the, you know, technical limitations. Hollywood can do it because they have the money. The world is their stage. The world is their audience. We have a very specific audience. Although we are a big populated country, but mostly our audience are Filipinos. So it's not the global world. So the um, there's a lot of limitations, and we cannot be um, Hollywood. So The reason why I'm telling you all this is because um, showing this type of films and doing these types of films back home is very challenging. It's really a struggle in itself because I have to show my films outside the Philippines first so that they can be appreciated when I show them back home. It's a continuous struggle to this day. So it's not easy. Um, and yet I continue making this type of films to this day because this is what I believe in. I believe in my cinema. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe that societal issues should be brought up, should be felt, and should be experienced also by the audience, and not just the escapist type of films like melodrama and the adaptation from from Korean films. So um, like what I said, it's really a struggle, on the part of filmmakers like us, being independent and continue doing our stuff. But the point here is that as a filmmakers, as film students, okay, and especially when you want to make a mark, when you want to make a name of yourself, and types of film, you are somehow, not yet sure of how you're gonna, which path are you gonna follow. Are you going to do these types of film? Are you gonna do this kind of film? So you watch different films from different different filmmakers, because you're trying to find yourself. Okay? You're trying to find your aesthetics. So it's not easy. I'm uh, I'm a late bloomer. I started quite late in my career. I was 45 years old when I did my first feature, my very first. I I didn't go to a film school at the time. During my time, there's no internet. You can't even afford to watch films from other parts of the world. I mean, you are just limited to what is being shown in the Philippines. But that didn't stop me. The limitations, my age, and all that. And of course, I'm nobody. I don't have any connection. But the first feature that I did, we sent it to Locarno, and it won the grand prize. It won the Golden Pepper Award in Locarno, the second oldest festival in the world. So that film, is a turning point in my life because when I did my first feature, The Masur, I just want to make film. I just want to, at least in my lifetime, I was able to make a film, one film. And after that, I'll go back to advertising and um, do what I'm, comfortable doing. But that film actually, the reason why it changed my entire life is that when I show it to the audience, and some audience said that they're not familiar about Philippine cinema. In fact, most of them haven't been to they haven't been to the Philippines. They're not familiar about my country and our culture. But that film shows everything that they need to know about my country and my people. And that was really, for me, it's uh, it's a moment that really turned my life because it's it's not like I did it intentionally to to show the culture to the other parts of the world, but I just I just tell a story, a truthful one, and it made a lot of difference because there is no embellishment in the film whatsoever. In the story, it was like I presented it the way I would experience it. Like when I go back to my hometown, I'm seeing myself in the character. These are the images that that made a mark in my mind while growing up. You know, so in other words, I try to be as close as I can to my environment and also to my roots. So I think it did help a lot because that's what the audience saw in the film. They saw soul. They didn't just see the actors or they didn't just see the story, but the soul of the film. So it has always been my guiding point to this day that it's quite difficult for a filmmaker to really share his soul every time that he makes a film. It's not that easy because you are exposing your life to the audience. But that's how I never get tired of doing that because that's me, that's my cinema. It's about the truth, the sad truth, and it's about the ugly truth. So that's basically sharing with you why I chose this types of story. Um, I think it encompasses everything, from the story to the cinematography, even the editing. What I shared with you here a while ago, the whole staff and crew, all the storytellers are, we are one in trying to depict what is reality. So even the editor, he knows how to depict reality through editing. And of course, that goes with production design. That goes with even with the music that I share with you here. I always want my music to be almost like diegetic or organic. I have a film once that we used not an actual instrument, but um, objects. We created music out of those different objects that we found on a junkyard. So we try to experiment. We try to go outside the box, to share something with the audience, something that is different. And I would like to share with you something because it was here in India when I had this memorable encounter with an audience the first time I came to India to show one of my films. I think that was Foster Child, and Foster Child was the director's fortnight, and it's about foster care in the Philippines. And I had this I had this experience with the Indian audience that a lot of them really, they kind of got so connected and into the story that most of them are, for the audience were like crying at the end of the film. Yesterday, when I had my screening, I also had this experience with one of the audience who felt so deeply connected also with the film. And I think for any filmmakers, this is what really matters. This is what really is important to us because not all audience can connect with our films, and not all audience can appreciate what we are doing. But if there's like one or two people from the audience who really was touched by your film and remember your film and your story. And I think that what really matters because that person will remember not just your film, not just your story, but remember it as part of his life. And that's what makes cinema powerful. So yeah. So I think I already talked so much. If you have any question, and let me know if you have anything to say, please. Yeah.
That gentleman there? Hello, sir. Yesterday I seen your film. It was lovely, and also your film, like on screen, what you explained was extraordinary explanation with visuals about filmmaking. Uh, it's a very great film, no doubt, and coming from a small country like Philippines. Some small observation, a small question, like uh, who are the greatest directors from world cinema who influenced you? And when we do films, for example, Satyajit Ray, or Desika, they all go for very ordinary people. For example, bicycle thief, this fellow is a brick layer, main character who plays the bricklayer. And in Satyajit's film, Satyajit gets a woman from a prostitute, Bombay, Chunibala Devi. She's 80 years old. Yeah, but they take performance from such a way, it's so great. And yeah, just want to share it with you. It was a lovely, lovely film, sir. Very, very great director. I want to compare you with David Lean and some of the greatest directors in the world.
So much. Hello. Well, it's like what I told you a while ago. I never been to a film school. In fact, um, film school for me is my experience, in advertising and at the back of the camera because I'm doing production design for other filmmakers. So that's education for me. Seeing, witnessing the filmmaking process of other filmmakers because I think that's how you learn. You learn from experience because seeing them work, I know, and I'm telling myself that what not to do. Okay, not only the things that I should be doing, but the things that I shouldn't be doing. So uh, when I did my first feature, like what I said, when I was in 45, it's the other way around. So as I make film, I try to watch other filmmakers work. Okay, and that's where I became exposed to film festival, and also that's the turning point of technology at that time when the 2005, so internet, and, and festivals, and suddenly the Philippines was able to, were able to show our films outside the Philippines. So I started following the works of the Darden brothers because everybody, whenever I go to Cannes, people will always tell me works, reminders of the Darden brothers. So I started watching their films, and I realized we basically have the same kind of of choices of stories. So they also dwell on societal issues. Yeah, I said like the Darden Brothers, the Guzman Son. I like the Elephant so much. It was like an influence also in my cinema, the violence, and I also like these films really made an impact in my life. The 3 weeks, was it 3 weeks? 3 months, 3 weeks, 2 days. Yeah, about this abortion story. So, yeah.
Hello, sir. This is for me. Hello.
Yeah, there.
As
I
you
would request
rightly,
you to skip the compliments part. We are here because we love him as a filmmaker. Just the question.
yes, as you rightly mentioned on your AD, that your character should be very realistic. So, how you choose your character? What exactly the process? And my next question is, what is the process of your screenplay writing? Thank
So
you.
the process of screenplay, the first should be the choice of the story. Why do I want to make a story about these people? What really influenced you? I'm always being influenced that or inspired not just by beautiful things but ugly things around me. I think that's basically where I'm coming from. If I am bothered about a certain or specific issue, Then I'll try to research and try to find out something about, about this situation, why I'm being bothered. Corruption in the police, corruption in different institutions. These are endless, and then I go deeply into specific story of real people. So I will interview real people, their experiences with all these different institutions, the corruption that they have encountered. And that's where I apply, after the research process and trying to find out, both sides, not just the side that I want to tell, but I have also to know the side, of the other um, characters. From there, we build the story around it. And then, of course, when you build the story, that's where your characters come out. So the moment that your characters comes out, while you're developing the script, that's where you develop your character. Like, are you seeing this character as the same person as as you interviewed? So, like for instance, in Marosa, I told Jacqueline Jose, my lead character, that this is the environment and this is the world of this character. Would you like to know more about it? And then she said, yes, I'd like to know more about it. So I shared with them some of the research I have. I shared with them some of the people I've talked to and also asked them to, you can also interview yourself. You can also go to this environment and talk to these people, right? Hear them, listen to them. Because developing a character is not just mimicking somebody and, and show it in cinema. Developing a character is actually, for me, is going to deep into the soul of that person. So it's different when you mimic someone, to be that character, than understanding that and seeing the humanity in that person without judging, without any judgment.
Next question.
So
Yeah. Initially, you showed in the continuity of the said question is, as you said, that you don't give the entire script to your actors. First of all, you select the actors from the community. So many times it must have happened to you that it has not put your schedule behind the production line, the cost, and of course it must have added a pressure on the editing side also. So your timeline or whatever you have set aside must have been disturbed, which adds to your financial and restraints in those things. So what is your reaction about that? And similarly, you must have noticed that sometimes what you are envisaged while filming that particular character and the storyline, that particular actor which you have selected as a raw material must have given you something different which you have never thought of. So how you react to all those things?
well, basically, I think it's all about trust. Because we don't provide them the scripts. I don't provide my actors the scripts because I don't want them to know the story totally. Because I am avoiding for my actors to memorize and to know the story, where the story is gonna lead them. Because as character, when you make your character alive as real people, we do not know our future because our future is not certain. So that's how I want my characters to think. That's why I don't provide them the script. Because when you provide them those, then they know their destiny. They know where they're gonna end. They know that they're gonna die. Okay, somehow. But what I try to tell my actors is how to develop their character in this specific kind of story. So this is our story. Our story is about, a mother who got caught because she's selling drugs, and the children, they have to look for money so she can be bailed out. That's basic, okay. But everything that will kinda happen during that time while she got caught by the police until she was released. It's like, it just happened spontaneously on the set. Now, and it's a very collaborative, work with actors, because you need to trust your actors. You need to trust them, because and the actors should trust me. They should trust me because They arrive on the set without knowing what's gonna happen. You know, I just tell them this is what's gonna happen now. We are at this stage of the story, and this is the situation. So how will you react? So for an actor, it's important that when he comes on the set, he knows already who he is, what he is, and he knows his, he's there as a not just as a character, as an actor, but as a real human being. The editing part, yeah, the editing part. So like what my editor said, the editor doesn't really look and check on the script because the script it's not 100%. It's not like 100%. We can't like do everything that was written, because in found story, some actors they do something that is different from what was written, and it could even be brilliant. It could even be different, even much more better than how the writer wrote it, because there are different set of artists and creators. So the editor will review all the footages and see where and how the story will lead or will go. So the editor for me is another person who's as significant as the director because he's the one holding and seeing all the footages and making a story that you don't even imagine because he is already making the story out of the footages materials, just the written stuff, which is the script. I really do storyboard. I really. We do that in advertising, but not when I shoot film. Yeah.
So, I have two questions. One, when you talk about realism, from such as a place to neorealism to the Birdman, the hyperrealism, where you place your films. Second question is, I repeat the question, from such as a apotology, which is neorealist films, to Birdman, which is hyperrealism. Where do you place your movies in the realistic spectrum? Second question, since you do sync sound, how tough it is to maintain that flow in the realistic film? Uh,
Say the second one again, please.
I'm very sure by the AV is very clear that you're using sync sound. You're not recording, it's like sync sound on spot, you're doing recording, right? Sync sound.
Synchronous sound.
As in, you should take the sound while shooting.
Sync sound.
Yeah, so how tough it is because having worked with sync sound, it's very difficult to maintain a continuity. So how you deal with the challenges of sync sound in the realistic film?
Okay. Now I'm using multiple cameras. So I have a very short and little setup because I'm using multiple cameras. So and everybody has lapels, so that's not a problem. And about my cinema, I don't really want to define exactly, my kind. I mean, I let the people define me. Everybody, when I show my films in Europe, everybody was like, I'm not calling me ultra realist. They started calling me that title. It's just a title, I don't live with the title. I let the people define my cinema. I don't want to go out here and tell everyone that this is my cinema, this is effective, this is right, this is good. We all have our choices in terms of the formula that we want to follow. And I'm not saying mine is better than anyone else. Everybody has the right. Everybody has the right to pursue whatever they believe in. With their craft.
Thank you. We have a question here.
Good morning, sir. Yeah. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the International Film Festival. I hope you're enjoying your stay in Goa. So I work as a documentary filmmaker, a cinematographer, and a vocalist. I'm a young filmmaker, and I look up to filmmakers like you. So my question is very simplistic towards you. It's twofold. One, what made you fall in love with filmmaking? A follow up on that, what continues to keep you in love with filmmaking? What makes you want to keep experimenting behind the camera? And Because as a filmmaker, if you're really passionate about what you do, about this profession, you want to continue working behind the camera and you want to do anything and everything which makes you work behind the camera and you want to keep putting your story across the world or whichever whatever your audience is. That's part one of the question. Part two is that as a young filmmaker, I would want to know from you that if I was to ask you that what was something you wanted somebody to tell you when you began your journey? What is that something that advice you would give me or any young filmmaker in the world? Okay. Before I forget, I might forget, so I'm trying to absorb everything that you're saying. But let's go back to the second question. I think when I was starting, I think somebody should have told me that it's not going to be easy. That it's going to be a continuous struggle, until the day you finish or you did your last film. So that's how I see filmmaking, cinema. It's not just a passion, but it's a commitment. It's a commitment for you to tell stories. You are committed to tell these truthful stories no matter what. So yeah, why do I continue? Why do I see films as as um, something that could change people's lives? I the the first time I did my feature, I did realize that cinema is that powerful, even as an audience. Maybe I wasn't really, got so affected with all the films that I'm watching when I was younger. Then when I realized that after doing the film, and somebody will go out there and tell you that your film, it touched me. And I realized that cinema is so powerful, and you can have that influence on people and have them and you can have them to have like critical thinking. So uh so that's the power of cinema. And I think to any filmmakers, that's basically the reason why we are all here, because we realize that our films or our storytelling has power, to change people's lives. And I think that's what we all want. That's what we all want. The reason why we are so interested about this story is because ultimately we want change for the better.
Suresh Kumar, yeah. This is regarding production. And, how do you get your funding and are you able to do your films at the budget? In case starting, how do you look for other options?
Okay, one of the reasons why we developed this Found Story School of Filmmaking is because first and foremost is the limitations of budget. Okay, in Found, because we're almost doing like a documentary, so it's budget friendly. So like I did several films that happens in a day. So it saves you in terms of production design, costume and all, continuity. So that's one. Okay, so another thing, in terms of budget, okay, I shoot very fast, because I want to keep the energy. I want to keep the momentum between between um, between the camera and the actor. So that's why I really do rehearsals. I really do second, third take. So usually the first take for me is the best take. Okay. But behind all this, there is this preparation. You prepare the actor, you prepare the stars, you prepare the staff. You go to the location, you know exactly what you are doing. You just don't decide on the set when you come, like, where do I gonna put my camera? How do I do this and how do I do that? It's not like that. That even I think my experience in cinema before I became a filmmaker, that in itself is making me an expert already behind the scenes, so that when I did my first feature, I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't second guess on the set.
So I think it somehow helped us to, to work on a very limited budget. And in terms of, this is one thing I'd like to share with most of the filmmakers who are here. Always, I noticed that with this generation, and with all the budget, there's a lot of pitching project all over the world. Back home, there's this like ongoing festival, and they give a huge amount of money, which I never experienced in my career as a filmmaker. At that time, you have to look for money yourself. I am the producer and the director. I'm also the person looking for money, sponsorship, donations, etc., etc. Um, like what I said, it's a struggle, but that's part of the filmmaking process. I already accepted that fact that as a director, I'm not just gonna sit here and wait for everyone to, give me offers and like I'm the best director in the entire world. I look for money. I look for people who are interested in doing what I do. I am very honest in telling them that this will not gonna make you richer, 3 times richer. Okay, this is a passion. So if you want to get rich by investing on my film, then I cannot assure you that. But if you want to see a good film, a film that you can be proud of, with the money that you invested in my film, then this is something that I can really promise you that I can deliver. So that's just basically.
Hi,
Yeah,
sir.
we can. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, please. Of
Of course. I don't live with them. Like, not dealing with them is that if somebody is like, telling me, "Are you not afraid?" Buddy, I'm still alive to this day. I get a lot of threats. I get messages, these are just threats. I mean, as filmmakers, as storytellers, we're not offending anyone. Like, I am not, specifically saying that this person is corrupt. I am saying that institution where this person is working is corrupt. Okay? Because I am not against the personality, I am against the institution that they represent. I think that's a safe way of doing whenever you make stories about different institutions. You don't really go to the personality because you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble.
okay, can
one sec,
I
sir, please let the others also ask questions. Yeah.
finally a woman asking a question? So I wanted to ask you that so much of your process that you described was very intangible, and where you leave it to the actors, you leave it to the editor, you allow the various variables to come in and play. So what I wanted to ask was the structure of your entire film. Is it something that you plan beforehand, or is the structure only in the craft? Because the more questions you answer, again and again the humanism aspect is what was standing out for me. So I want to know that do you already have an answer in mind?
No,
You don't.
you don't. You cannot do that. You cannot have that. I mean, you plan, you structure everything according to what you think, what your vision is. But then that's just during the planning process. And then on the time where we're filming, that's another process because you don't know what's gonna happen in the set. There's something that will, like, for instance, if it rained, but I'm not gonna pack up the ship because it's raining. I'm gonna use the rain as part of my narrative. It can be something rhetorical. Okay, but a lot of filmmakers will pack up. Okay, it's cloudy. Let's not shoot. And then you pack up, and then that would cost you money. But if in the narrative that it can be added to your storytelling, why not use it? It saves you money. But then that's another process. You can always edit that. You can always take that away because there's still another process, which is editing, the third and final process. So These are all important process. You try to have your vision, but trust also the process. Okay, and trust the people who are behind this process, the editor, production staff, your writers, and your researchers. So that's how we, put things, everything together.
As a director, are you always able to recognize what emerges out of you once you're done filming? Like I said, that question at the beginning of a film which you're trying to answer. Are you able to recognize, like you said, you trust the process, you have faith? Are you able to recognize the changes it brings in you? Because, like you said, you are trying to depict reality, and
Yeah,
reality is often disappointing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Recognize that. Recognize. Sometimes you get disappointed. In real life, you get disappointed. And then this is our vision and it didn't happen. In the film process, it didn't happen. This is not what I'm trying to envision in my film. But why? Then you just have to trust that. Maybe this is the story is leading me somewhere. Not just me. Maybe the story is telling you somewhere because of contribution of other storytellers. It's part of your team. So this is about you and your vision. This is the vision of everyone. It's a collaborative effort. Trust everyone. Your production designer is saying something to his design. The music is also saying something you know, the emotion that you want to impart in some scenes, which you didn't see, you didn't know because you haven't heard the music yet. Okay? Even in the color grading, you can see the real colors when you are filming or when you're shooting. But once you do the color grading, it can, the enhancement of your music is can give you a different, look altogether.
Um, you said earlier that you release your films in the West, in America, and Europe, and then okay, you release your films in the West, in America or Europe initially before you release them in the Philippines. So, are there any compromises that you have to make to sort of straddle both audiences, or you just make your film and they better take it or leave it?
Now, problem is with the Filipino audience is colonial mentality. If the West or if Europe appreciates the film, then they will watch it. So it's also some sort of a strategy. So if the film gets an award, oh, this is a good film, then I'll watch it. If it doesn't get anything, then it's not a good film because the West didn't appreciate it or Europe did not like it. No. But of course, I'm talking about the niche audience because generally our audience are mainstream. Like maybe a good 80% of our audience are mainstream. So, but then again, it's also an issue that I accepted long, long time ago. I mean, because it is not only specific in our country, I think it's all over the world, even in France, supposedly worry in the cinema. The only thing is that they were able to establish an audience specifically for these types of films that would watch these films no matter what. So even if say, I just like to share with you, like if France has like 60 million population, if 60 million population, the 55 million will still watch mainstream, but they have the 5 million audience who are compact, who are solid. That no matter what, they will watch this art films that they show. So that's my objective in terms of audience development, meaning, I don't have to have the whole entire Philippines watching my film. That's not the objective. My only objective is to have this niche audience, develop a niche audience that are solid, that will watch your film no matter what. Okay? And I'm just talking like a few percentage of this population. Because we can never do that. Believe me. And it will not happen. Okay? Because generally, audience, we want cinema that will make us feel good, you know. And growing up, that's how we were brought up. That's what we were brought up to appreciate. So you can do anything about it. You cannot be like just like it's tradition, that's culture. You can just like stop it from happening.
Okay, so this is all that we can take. Thank you very much. The
I
last
think she
question
said
was already here.
I
So
think she said this was the last question from me. Please,
okay, okay.
I'll make it brief. As a filmmaker who's made short films, I write, I direct, I edit as well myself. So my question is about editing. Although my short films have been scripted, but I am open to all kinds, like you said, the filmmaking. Okay, whatever happens, use it. But I found in the editing process that it becomes really a long process when I'm using things and have to structure it afterwards in the editing. So my question for you was regarding the editing. How long do you estimate or does it take for your things to be edited using these kind of factors?
It,
Thank
it,
you.
it really depends on the project. It depends on the film. So, but it's a long process. I agree, totally, completely agree with you. Like for me, you cannot do shortcut. Even for the preparations and for the script development, you cannot do shortcut. I do I do immersion myself. I have to immerse myself with the stories that I'm telling. This cannot be an outsider, an outsider telling your stories that I don't even understand. I have to know. I have to feel it. I have to experience it. So that is a process, and we have to respect that. And then the process of trying to balance and being balance everything. When you write the script, it's very difficult. You know, trying to segregate what your heart is saying and what your mind is saying and what the truth is saying. That is very challenging. So you have to balance everything because this is not just about you. This is not just about what my mind is saying or what my heart is saying, but this is also about what these people are saying. So that's how I balance everything. And so when you go to the editing process, it's the same thing. I remember once when I have this big scene that we spent so much, and it took me days to tell my producer that I'm gonna take it out because it's not important. Because I know that that's production value, that's money involved. You spend so much, and then just gonna take it out. Why film it in the first place? Because when you edit, it's not working. It's not adding to the storytelling. It deviates the story from where you want to lead, where you want to go. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, sir. This is what we had. And if you have any closing remarks, you can please end your session.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for your time. You've been a very, very good audience, like as always. And I hope we can do this sometimes also in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, audience, and thank you, Mr. Brillante Mendoza, for this wonderful session. And I will request the entire audience to please vacate this auditorium and re-enter if you want to attend the next class. Okay, please don't stay back.